morning light streamed through the curtains as Elena sat at her vanity, brushing out her long golden hair. The soft hum of the city outside her apartment was comforting, a rhythm she had grown accustomed to. She loved beauty, harmony, and the small joys of life. Fresh flowers on the table, candlelit dinners, the thrill of a surprise love note tucked inside her purse. Romance was her oxygen, and she had always believed love should feel like poetry in motion. Across the room, Nathan was buttoning his crisp white shirt, his movements precise and methodical. He was a man of structure, a planner by nature. Love to him was shown through actions, keeping the fridge stocked with her favorite tea, fixing the loose handle on her dresser without her asking, making sure she never had to worry about the small inconveniences of life. He believed in practicality, in consistency, in proving love through quiet devotion rather than grand words or sweeping gestures. "Elena, you have that gallery event tonight, right?" he asked as he adjusted his cuffs, glancing at her in the mirror. She turned, eyes hopeful. "Yes, you'll come, won't you?" Nathan hesitated for a second too long. "I have that client proposal due tomorrow. I was thinking I'd stay in and finish it." Her smile dimmed, though she forced it to stay. "It's important to me." "I know, and I support you. You know I do." Support. The word felt hollow. She didn't just want his support, she wanted his presence. She wanted him by her side, sharing in the things that mattered to her, not just approving of them from a distance. That night, she attended the event alone. The art was breathtaking, colors swirling together in ways that made her heart swell. But the empty space beside her was impossible to ignore. Nathan, meanwhile, sat at his desk, eyes scanning over spreadsheets and emails. His mind was focused, efficient, yet somewhere beneath it all, he felt the weight of something unspoken pressing against his chest. The next morning, she tried again. "I know you're busy, but maybe we could take a weekend trip somewhere? Just us?" He looked up from his laptop. "A trip? We haven't planned anything." "That's the point, Nathan. It doesn't have to be planned." His brows knitted together. "You know I don't like doing things last minute. I just have a lot on my plate right now." Elena sighed, the ache in her chest growing. "It's not just about this, Nathan. I don't need big vacations or expensive gifts. I just need to feel wanted." His expression shifted, guarded. "I show you I love you every day." She exhaled sharply. "Not in the way I need." That was the beginning of the divide, a space between them that only widened with each misunderstanding. Nathan thought he was doing everything right. He provided stability, reliability, devotion. Elena longed for warmth, excitement, a sense of being cherished. Days turned to weeks, their interactions becoming strained. She stopped asking him to come along to events. He stopped noticing when she came home quieter than usual. Then came the night when everything cracked open. Elena was scrolling through her phone, her heart sinking as she saw another couple's engagement announcement. A grand, romantic gesture captured in golden hour light. She wasn't envious of the ring, but of the look in the woman's eyes, the way she was held like she was the most precious thing in the world. She set her phone down, swallowing the lump in her throat. "Nathan, do you even want this relationship?" He looked up, startled. "What?" "You keep saying you love me, but it doesn't feel that way." His jaw tensed. "Because I don't make grand declarations? Because I don't plan surprises? Because I feel like I'm alone in this?" His face was unreadable for a long moment. Then quietly, "I don't know how to be what you need." The words stung more than she expected. She had held on to the hope that he would just try, that love was enough. Nathan, too, felt something inside him twist. He hated seeing the disappointment in her eyes, hated feeling like everything he did was never enough. For the first time, silence stretched between them like a chasm too wide to cross. The following days were filled with distance, a fragile tension hanging over them like an impending storm. Elena debated leaving, her heart battling between love and the painful realization that maybe they just weren't right for each other. Nathan, for the first time, questioned whether he had been too rigid, too unwilling to meet her halfway. Then came the night when he found her on the balcony, staring at the city lights. Without thinking, he placed something in her hands. She looked down, a small, delicate note. I don't know how to say the right words, but I'm trying. I love you, Elena. I see you. Her breath hitched as she turned to face him. He was nervous, actually nervous. I should have done that sooner, he admitted, and I should have come to your gallery event and danced with you in the kitchen. And she stopped him with a kiss, soft but filled with all the emotions they hadn't spoken aloud. It wasn't perfect. They still had work to do, still had to learn each other's language. But for the first time, they both took a step forward. And sometimes, that's all love really needs. Two people willing to meet in the middle. Elena let out a soft breath, pressing the note against her chest. It wasn't a grand gesture, but it was something, a sign that he was listening, that he was trying. Nathan, for the first time, didn't assume his way was the only way to love. He had spent so much time believing stability was enough, but now he saw that love wasn't just about being there. It was about being present, about making her feel cherished, not just supported from a distance. That night, they sat together on the couch. No distractions between them. Elena talked about the paintings she had seen at the gallery, the emotions they stirred in her. Nathan listened, truly listened, and for the first time he asked questions, not because he had to, but because he wanted to understand her world. The next weekend, he surprised her. Nothing extravagant, just a simple drive to a small coastal town. No itinerary, no meticulous planning, just them, walking along the shore, hands intertwined, laughter carried by the wind. And as Elena looked up at him, she realized something. Love wasn't about perfection or grand romantic moments. It was about the willingness to grow together, to learn each other's language, to meet in the spaces where their differences once pulled them apart. Nathan wasn't a poet, and Elena wasn't someone who thrived on structure. But in that moment, they were just two people choosing each other again and again. And maybe, just maybe, that was the greatest love story of all.